Hi everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. Well, there's been some interesting developments, and according to an article in Daily Mail Plus, Mail on Sunday, Thomas Markle Sr. is about to make some big changes in his life. That's right. He's done an interview with a columnist from the Daily Mail that presumably went over to Mexico and spent a week with him while he was packing up his household. That's right. Thomas Markle, 80 years old, survivor of 2 heart attacks, a stroke, a man that has been characterized as weak, feeble, and near death's door by his family for the last couple of years. Well, he's just getting tired of the same old thing. His life's in a rut, he says. So he's planning to pick up sticks and move to Southeast Asia. That's right. That's right, where over the last few years we've heard nothing but Thomas Markle Jr. and Samantha talk about how they have to care for their father, and he's weak and he's feeble and they've helped him so much, and but he's gonna, he's feeling confident enough that he'll travel halfway around the world away from anybody that he knows. Now, we all know about Southeast Asia and the kind of things that happen there. Lots of stories about the movement of small humans, that kind of thing. Why would anybody want to live there? It's an interesting story. In the article, the woman goes on to the interviewee goes on to talk about her and Thomas Markle drinking endless cups of PG Tips, a British tea, and of course endless mince pies. Where the hell is he gonna get PG Tips and mince pies in Mexico? Unless she brought him over for him. What a poser. What a poser. I tell you, from the very beginning, I've rarely talked about the Markles at all, because from the beginning I thought they were low-life opportunists, rednecks, just not very credible people. I mean, from the beginning we saw Thomas Markle and the pap shots, the fake tuxedo fittings and all of that, and then we discover, that was the start of that's why Megan, turned on him. Oh, he's gone to the press, he's getting pap shots, we need our privacy. And that's what presumably first turned her again. Oh, then we find out and that the guy taking the pictures is the same guy Megan has employed herself. It's all connected. It was all a hoax back then. We just didn't see it. It's just a game played out, and everybody has their part to play in it. Look at Thomas Markle. Look at Thomas Markle. 2-time Emmy Award-winning lighting director, a Hollywood, pretty well respected in Hollywood. He did quite well for himself. And I think what we're seeing now, with him making the moves, he's gonna up sticks, move to Asia. I think what we're seeing is the completion of a project or an operation. That's right. I've said it before. I've said it for years. You just have to look at a couple of the Soho House connection and who is Marcus Anderson 2 of my videos to understand how these things, it's all connected. I think Thomas was brought in as an agent of chaos, a useful, a patsy basically, to perform a role, and I think he was urged to do so. You might say, coerced to do so. Well, how could that happen? We know. If you didn't know before, you know now, to a degree, what these, the sickos that have infiltrated the entertainment industry through the whole Diddy thing and what's coming out. Well, we know that is PDF files run the show across the board, not just in entertainment, music, government, politics, medicine, education. It's everywhere, man. That is the currency of the world. And at some point or another, anybody of any notoriety at all has been brought in and compromised as a way of perpetuating this behavior, and also a blackmail kind of thing. Use useful idiots when they need them, bring them in. It's a way to manipulate and control. And so I'm saying here that I think at some point Thomas Markle was compromised. And I mean, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he's the one guy in Hollywood that wasn't compromised. Maybe. But just maybe. And Megan, I think she was brought in as a child. I mean, I have done a lot of work with my videos to kind of notice that there was a pattern, something was going on. I thought that this was a plan, and it all kind of came together, and how all the pieces tied together. But now also thanks to the great work of the Royal Grift, showing us that every picture and document of Meghan Markle going back to when she was about 8 years old has been manipulated and tampered with. Well, why is that? Because they're not who we think they are. So thanks to her, it pulls my work even further together. Now, why would they be brought into? Well, because everybody is, and everybody's compromised, and there's always something. Okay, so how does it all connect? Let's go back to my previous video, I Know Harry's Secret. You gotta watch that video. You gotta watch that video, because right around the time that the switch was being made, Meghan and her father would have been brought in. Her at about, 8 years old. And we know, horrific as it is, what happens to a lot of children in the entertainment industry, and what the elite like little humans for. I don't think that was the purpose for Meghan. They had higher purposes for Meghan. Notice in all the videos that we see of her, she's like 8 years old, 10 years old, fake tiara on her head, she's a princess, bow to me. Through the actions of her father and who knows what else, and I would suggest, some subtle programming. People say, oh, conspiracy theory, but we know it happens all the time. And there's documents that it happens. So, there you go. It happens. And we know that the alphabet letter agencies, they've been involved in all kinds of stuff all the time. Whenever there's a lone wolf shooting or a crazy guy or a, seemingly terrorist kind of thing, with a little bit of digging, there's usually an alphabet agency somewhere in the background, So that these things, were it's a work. So yeah, I think they were brought in. And here's the thing. The switch was made. The royal family, one of the most important elite groups in the world, at the top of the heap, utilized their connections with the Five Eyes to keep an eye on this situation and squash anything as it arose, and because they didn't want, on behalf of the royal family, this secret to get out. I'm just surmising from what I've learned and how I've put it together what may have happened. This might be what's happening. It might not. But stay with me. The switch is made. The royal family talks to the surveillance and security personnel and says, we need a plan in place to keep this under wraps, guys. They also need a plan because they know they're not going to be able to control this forever. A way to control Harry, as it were, James Francis Alexander, as he's growing up, right? Even with all the mind control in the world and the mind-altering, antidepressants and everything that they had Diana on at the time, they needed something. So overseas in California, you have little Meghan Markle, brought up believing she's going to be a princess. Pictures of her as a teenager in front of Buckingham Palace. Those have been proven to be altered with, the whole thing is contrived. And here's the thing. And then somehow through Meghan's life, she grows up and actually begs Prince Harry. Can you imagine? And whisks him off to California. It's not a fairy tale. It was planned all along. And if you can see the connections, you can see it from the beginning. Like I said, the whole programming of Meghan. And the way she was indulged, the way everything that we seem to have found out about her somehow is suppressed or covered up or painted over, and it's, they've really whitewashed things and we only see what they want us to see. But then you notice everything you're looking at is contrived because it's all been manipulated. So who's Meghan Markle and what's she doing here? Well, here's the thing. You can track her progress through this operation right up until the time she hooks up with Marcus Anderson, Soho House. Now, that is a very huge connection. You really got to go back and watch my video, the Soho House connection. And also my video, Who is Marcus Anderson, to get the full background, why this is important, how everybody involved is connected from, all around the world, and, it's a huge thing. And this is how Meghan bagged her prince. Now, we know, if you look at Harry, who Mime is saying isn't, who we know as Harry, James Francis Alexander, well, even editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine, Ingrid Seward, always called him an angry young man. It was well known for many, many years, even before he met Meghan, that he would have preferred to just be Harry. He was looking for a way out of the royal family then. I would suggest that the programming he had, like we all know, if you research that kind of stuff in the programming that went on, a lot like monarch programming, whatever, these different things, the programming starts breaking down when the subject is about 30 years old, because they don't have the same influence that they did at the beginning. We see this way. I mean, Britney Spears, perfect example. Do a little research on that. I'm not going out a crazy world here. A lot of this stuff has already been documented. I'm just applying that kind of stuff to this situation. That's all. So you have Harry in a position. Meghan has been brought through and kind of groomed again by Marcus. Marcus is now her controller. Marcus is her kind of best friend, but also directing her. He's highly influential. And he's in the middle of this story. Right? So, and I mean, all the thing. She got Harry to California. Through their act, and I mean, Meghan has been indulged all the way along. Whether it's political pals or Hollywood, Harry's been, we know, supported by his father this whole time. He's been protected by the British and American governments, and you gotta ask why. It's because this is a international exercise to keep Harry under wraps, to get him away from the proximity of the British royal family. He's got to be discredited. Because if he was ever to reveal if this is true, can you imagine the threat to the royal family? And I think that's what they're facing now. So this is lots of moving parts here. This is a developing story. They're not done with Harry and Meghan yet, but what we're seeing today is Thomas Markle is being rewarded for his service. They're going to pay him a bunch of money and set him up in Southeast Asia, so he's out of the picture. And if it hits the fan, he's out of the way. Nobody's going to be able to question him. But what did you know? What did you do? You see? So they're still protecting him. Now this sounds absolutely flippin' crazy. But go back and watch those videos. Watch my previous video. I don't know how else you can explain all of this. If you can explain it better, you tell me. I'd love to know what you think about all of this. Leave me a comment. Like, subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.